Hey family, the Bassman is here live in studio bringing you a Cool Jazz Countdown exclusive. You know, there's a lot of great music out there, and we play it for you here on the Cool Jazz Countdown. Coming to you today, a brother out of Baltimore, a good friend of mine. He is celebrating his brand new release on Mack Ave Records. It is something like you have never heard him before. The album is called Reincarnation. Please welcome none other than Warren Wolf back to the Cool Jazz Countdown. How you doing, bro?
Everything good. Everything is good. Can't complain.
Now, every time I talk to Warren, he tries to drop it down an octave or two.
That's right, because I'm the sexy one here.
I don't. Out of the gate, he has already started. He's the strong one here. The strong one with the mallets in the hand, the strongest jazz musician out there in the land. But again, welcome back to the Cool Jazz Countdown.
Thank you very much.
Bro.
Appreciate it.
And we also are joined by an ever so beautiful vocalist who appears many a time on Warren's latest album, Reincarnation. Please welcome the lovely, the beautiful Imani Grace Janet.
Hey. Government on that thing.
I did. Might as well put it all out there. Yeah. So, Warren, you have been keeping very, very busy. Every time I see you, you are touring the land with somebody, most recently the SF Jazz Collection. How long have you all been on the road now?
Well, right now we're on a small break, but we'll hit the road starting next month. We'll be out for about a month, okay. And then we come back around in July. We'll be out for another few weeks, and we're touring the 50th anniversary of Sly Stone's Stand,
nice.
And Miles Davis in a Silent Way. So we're doing stuff. Well, the band has been around for 15 years, but we're doing something completely different than what any of the previous bands have done. We're bringing a lot of funk and soul, which is very different than any other versions of the SF Jazz Collective. So.
And in between time performing and recording with them, you found the time yourself to get back into the studio to work on your latest album, Reincarnation, which has some of those same elements there. Jazz, funk, soul. This album is something totally different from what your fans have known you to do.
Definitely. I've been at this music game now for 20 years.
And congrats.
Pretty much, I think about 6 or 7 records as a leader. And I have some friends who were telling me, they said, why don't you try something different? So I guess what came around was, my 40th birthday was November of last year. Mm-hmm. And I told myself, let's try something different. Let's, what's the second half of my career? What is that going to look like? Well, I don't want to call it second half, but what's the 40 and above, what is that going to look like? So right. I wanted to do something completely different, still in kind of like in a jazz vein, but just taking away the swing feel of it and just trying to add some more groove and soul to it. And, yeah, Lord and behold, things started happening.
How long had this been on your wish list?
Honestly, for about 10 years now.
Because I know as an artist, you start out, the album or the label has you going in one direction. Yeah. But when you move from project to project, and then you're also working with other artists out there, you want to break out and do something that you just totally want to do at times that could be completely opposite from what the label assigned you want to do and then what your fans have known you to do.
Yeah, the fans have known me to be a straight-ahead jazz musician mainly because of my associations with Christian McBride, Margaret Miller, and many others. But it's always been in me to play many other styles of music, coming from a school like Berklee College of Music, which is not a jazz school, but it's a school of music. Also growing up in Baltimore City, listen to my father with his groups play around. They played a lot of music from the 80s, like Anita Baker, Yellow Jackets, Spiral Gyra. So it's always been in me to do this. So right now is the perfect time for that to happen.
Yeah. So the album again, Reincarnation, it is officially out now. Hit stores on February 28th, hit all of the streaming platforms and download platforms on February 28th. Congrats. We do encourage you to get out there. Check the album out for yourself. Spotify, Apple Music, whatever the case. It is definitely worth your ear. On this album, we have 10 cuts And out of these 10, well, before we even get to the music, let's talk about the band, the cats that you have assembled for this. First and foremost, Brett Williams, incredible keyboardist. Where did your association with Brett come from?
I first met Brett. I performed a show in Pittsburgh. I was opening up for a band that he was a part of. I forget the name of the band, but I was just listening to him in sound check, and they were playing like a blues, and I was like, man, this dude sounds awesome. So I, kept his number, and I just started checking out little videos of him, and then I noticed that he was the pianist keyboardist for Marcus Miller. Yeah. So then I was like, wait a minute, okay, he can play some swing, but also at the same time, he has a very strong sense of groove and gospel and things like that. That was a plus. The whole idea for the whole band was for me to have musicians who understood jazz but could do other things. Okay. So that was Brett Williams. Richie Goods, I first got to know him from his days with Mulgrew Miller, when he was in Mulgrew's trio with
great bassists out there.
Yeah. And but then he, when we were talking, he told me that he also plays electric bass very well. And then I really got to check him out when he was with the Chris Bodie band for many years. Mark Whitfield, same story. He's been with the Jazz Futures, played with just everybody. I can't go down the list for him, but then I noticed that he also likes to play. Well, he played with Chris Bodie as well, and many other people outside of jazz. Just laying down the chords and just that funky stuff.
Straight ahead and contemporary.
Yep. Yeah. CV Dashiell, he's one of the great drummers in the whole DMV area.
Everybody's favorite.
Everybody loves him.
The DMV, yes, and beyond.
And the one thing that I really love about him, because I'm very picky about drummers. Like, he knows how to swing, he knows how to play gospel, he knows how to play R&B. He can read really well. Yeah. And he does it all. He's just a great spirit. He learns the music quickly. He comes in very prepared. And to my right, Imani Grace. I first met her. It had to be like 10 years ago. It was at the one of the Black Caucus events in D.C. She was singing with the Afro Blue
at Howard
University.
Okay.
And how long was that?
13.
Okay, so she knows the exact day, 13 years ago. And I remember I saw her, I was like, wow, who was that? And, she was singing out front lead, and, I just rapped to her quickly. I said, hey, my name is Warren. Pleasure to meet you. Let's keep in touch. Finally, I called one day to do a little small event at a church in D.C., Westminster Presbyterian Church, on Friday nights. She agreed to do it, and I told her I had some things I was working on. Again, this has been in my mind for a while, not to say I had some things to work on. So, we met up, had some, quick one-on-one rehearsals. Finally made it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, honestly, she's like the thing that pulls us all together, because one thing that I'm doing different on this record is not a lot of soloing on the vibes. One thing I want to do was like kind of feature vocals a lot, just to give the people out there something else to connect to versus just listen to instrumental music. So she's a big part of the record.
She most definitely is. And Imani, I mean, your voice, when I first heard you, so I heard you before this project, of course. I had been following you on social media for a couple of years now. So I was elated when I found out that you were going to be a part of this, because I'm a fan. And so to hear what you have done, this is a sister who can be angelic in one line, seductive in the very next line, and does it effortlessly, in full control of her instrument. Tell everybody where you're from, first and foremost.
Thank you. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, originally. DC is the 8th city I've lived in.
Wow.
So we moved quite a bit. My father's job. And my mom is from the Jim Crow South, Monroe, Louisiana. And my father is from war-stricken West Africa. So a lot of my inspiration is in my personal writing style comes from the Black diaspora and the Black experience. But my musical background is in plays and church. Really
Yeah, because I've seen you singing in church. I've seen you singing at happy hours. I've seen you singing in clubs. I mean, you do a little bit of everything. So you bring quite a bit of experience to the bandstand for this. I want to go ahead and hop into one of the tunes that you were featured on, and this is a cover. It comes from one of my favorite bands out there, the Brothers Isley. Yes, everybody calls them the Isley Brothers. To me, they're the Brothers Isley. For the Love of You. Warren, first and foremost, why For the Love of You?
One of my favorite tunes. It's just really laid back, feels good. You know, Rhino Isley, Mr. Biggs, got that nice soulful voice. The only thing I did with that tune, I got the idea from Nicholas Payton. Not to get really technical, but the song is in a major key. I decided to just flip it and make it minor, just more sexy and seduction and stuff like that. So
you did that,
yeah. And but it's still the same song when you're listening to it. You know, it's just the chords have changed a little bit, but it's still the same song. Just one of my favorite songs. Also, I just like to give listeners something that they can connect to. One song at least. And I try to do that on every album, regardless if it's swing or whatever.
Right.
You know, and this is one song that I feel that people can dig into.
Family, I want you to listen to the space that is given on this song through this amazing voice sitting right next to me right now, Imani Grace. The album Warren Wolf, Reincarnation, available now. Cool Jazz Classic, better yet, Cool Jazz Countdown. Exclusive, coming to you right here on the Cool Jazz Countdown.
Drifting on a memory, ain't no place I'd rather be than with you. Yeah, loving you.
Family, in studio right now, we are joined by a brother who just released a brand new album. It is on the Mack Avenue label. It is something he has never done before. It's the best of both worlds, a little bit of contemporary, a little bit of straight ahead, and definitely a whole lot of funk and groove in the middle. None other than vibraphonist Warren Wolf in studio. Warren, thank you for your time today, my brother.
Thank you very much.
In the first half of the program, we previewed a tune off of the album For the Love of You, featuring the very lovely Imani Grace. Again, a lot of breath, a lot of air, a lot of space, and a whole lot of seduction. Girl, you did that thing. Yes, you did.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Warren, let's talk about some more music on this album. How hard was it for you in putting together the repertoire for this? Because I know, a lot of these tunes you actually wrote. And so we have 9 tunes on here, or better yet, 8 total tunes.
Yeah.
Not counting the intro and the outro. Oh, you know what? I haven't even mentioned to anybody yet. I'm on this album.
That's right. You're a big part of the record.
Yeah, the Bassman is on this album. Yeah, so I'm on the intro and the outro. And crazy enough, when Warren and I first talked, that's all we talked about. Was me coming in. Warren called me and said, "Hey, Bass, doing a new album. I have an idea. I would love for you to be a part of it." I said, "Bruh, I'm game. Just let me know when, where, and I'm there." So I get into the studio, and he says, "Well, let me play something for you." And he plays it for me, and I hear it, and I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I can do something with that." And so we end up doing a whole lot more, which we'll get into shortly. But so minus the intro and outro, we have 8 tunes here in the middle. And minus For the Love of You, let's make it 7 now. And so how many tunes did you actually write for this album?
I wrote every tune on this record.
Every tune?
Every song on here.
Now, did you write additional tunes outside of the ones that made the album?
No, there was one tune that we did record that was composed by a friend of mine, Alex Brown, on piano. Great tune. but it just didn't fit the vibe of the record.
Okay.
The tune that we recorded was kind of like in the style of Pat Metheny, something like that.
Okay.
But, you know, it just didn't fit with what I was going for.
Right.
So, but no, everything else was like seriously planned out.
Right. And you kick off the album with a dedication to your late mother on a groove called For Ma.
Yeah.
Break that song down.
So my mother, she passed away about 4 years ago. And when she retired, she had early retirement. She didn't know what to do. You know, like, what am I doing now? So her and my dad, they would always go over to their recording studio, and she learned how to play piano very quickly, like within 2 years.
Wow.
Now, she wasn't like solo or anything like that, but she would just accompany classic recordings, like from the music that they grew up to, like a lot of stuff from the Motown era.
Okay.
So, you know, Temptation, Smokey Robinson, Miracles, Ford, you know, all those groups. So, because she was such a fan of that music, what I decided to do on here was just kind of create a song that was almost in that same style. What really helps out with this track is when CB, he's playing a tambourine throughout the whole song. So the tambourine kind of gives it away. But, you know, it was for my mother. That's it.
It's a beautiful thing, paying tribute for sure. Let's go to your tribute to two of your children in the Wolf Pack, Sebastian and Zoe.
Those are my two babies. I am a father of 5. Sebastian and Zoe are my 2 youngest. They're 5 and 3 years old. And I just like to tell a story about each one of them, you know, because there's something else. They drive me crazy, but I love them.
Especially at that age.
Yes, they're always fighting, but at the same time, they're honestly best friends. They like punching me and jumping on me, but at the same time, they love giving me plenty of hugs and kisses and stuff like that. So I just like to tell a little fun story about them too. And again, Imani, she did a wonderful job of singing the song. I actually wrote the lyrics for that tune, which is really hard because I've never put lyrics to any song.
Okay.
So, but I actually sat down one night and I just like, let's see what happens. Yeah.
And so Imani's singing on there, and I'm kind of echoing, if you will, what she's saying on there. And you definitely got to check it out, Sebastian and Zoe. Living the Good Life.
Living the Good Life is a story. So just thinking about it, the whole CD is basically like a love story, or based around love for the most part. It talks about, kind of hinting at my previous relationship, because I was divorced, and I was kind of stuck in a rut at one point in my life. But then I slowly just came out of it. So combined with my current wife, this project, the band, my 5 kids, people in my life, you know, who have just overcoming grief, a whole bunch of things, you know, just living a good life. I'm in a good place right now.
How about that?
Yeah.
And he's spreading the good vibes to you. Warren Wolf in studio today here on the Cool Jazz Countdown, and Imani Grace as well. So let's talk about a tune on here that happens to be my favorite tune on the album.
I think I know which one it is.
and let me tell you. So again, Warren brings me in studio, says, I want to play something for you. And he plays this. And I just saw this sister. She had just left the studio. She was getting ready to leave the studio or something. And I started hearing her voice. And oh my Lord. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Man. Okay. So the song is called In the Heat of the Night. Now, you wrote the lyrics to this?
Yeah.
Bruh. Bruh. I don't know what you were going through in that moment, or what you had been through, or who you were thinking about. But Lord have mercy on me. And then the way that Imani sings it. Okay, so Imani, when you first saw the lyrics to this song, what was your first thought?
Be honest.
Well, that's exactly what I thought. I wanted it to feel authentic.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of times I struggle publicly exerting sexiness via my voice.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all.
Consciously making an effort to sound sexy is sometimes a little bit of a thing.
Okay.
But I just kind of let go a little bit, shake off the nerves, and trying to put myself in a place of the heat of the night.
Lord have mercy. So yeah, I hear this, and so many things just went through my mind immediately. You know, I used to be heavy in the poetry scene years ago. Used to host a spot in Baltimore called the 5 Seasons. We had an event called Warm Wednesdays, and every Wednesday night I was there. And, you know, I was writing poetry, performing poetry, and a lot of it on the seductive side. So that's always been a part of me. And so when I heard this, I said, man, you know, as I'm listening, the fingers are snapping, and I'm visual. I'm a very visual person as well. So it immediately took me to a space where I said, yeah, I need to get all over this bad boy. And what you hear on the album, you know, I didn't take the time really to write anything down. What you're hearing are my natural responses to what Imani Grace is singing. So What are folks saying about this song, Warren?
It's one of their favorites. It's truly, you know, when I was writing the lyrics for it. I mean, take away the lyrics. The song by itself, if I just played the melody by myself, it's already there.
The breakdowns.
Yeah. It's basically, it's a love story. Not a lot of jazz musicians nowadays are afraid to I think they're afraid to go into that area. I'm talking about just straight ahead jazz musicians. Most jazz musicians they're thinking about something, you know, just high power and this and that. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it back and this is what it is. Yeah. Simple melody. The melody is just revolving. And it just tells the story of a woman who's in heat at nighttime, and she wants to be with her man. We can leave it at that. So the first lyrics of the song, I am driving to you.
Well, come on. We are going to close out on that song. Before we do, Warren, again, incredible album, Reincarnation. You've never heard Warren Wolf like this. I do encourage you to check it out. Came out on February 28th. It is on Mack Ave Records. You can also check it out at warrenwolf.com. It's on all streaming platforms, all download platforms as well. Put your social media handle out there, Warren, so folks can keep up with you.
Yep, Warren Wolf and the number 1. You can find that on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And actually, the website is warrenwolfmusic.com. And please reach out to me and support the record and buy it.
Most definitely. And Imani Grace, what is your social media handle?
Very discoverable through Warren Wolf's, but also my personal is Imani Grace _music for Instagram and Twitter, and my website is imanigrace.com.
And of course, you can follow me at The Man with the Voice and follow us at the Cool Jazz Countdown. Cool Jazz Countdown exclusive right now. Closing out this interview with Warren Wolf with the tune In the Heat of the Night. Warren, thank you for hanging out. Imani, you as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In the Heat of the Night right here on the Cool Jazz Countdown. Damn, baby, I sure have been missing you. I'm sitting there reminiscing on the last time that you and I connected. I think it's about time that we do it all over again.
Driving to you.
Peace.